When I was younger, I dreamed a lot. Now, not because I was unhappy, but because I really wanted to belong. I was with my birth mother for 3 months before she decided to give me up for adoption. Thankfully, there was a lovely couple that wanted me at that time. And one day in September in 1972, I was driven from probably the roughest side of Nottingham to one of the nicest suburbs that there was in the area. With me, and my belongings, there was a light blue washing up bowl with all my things packed in there. And inside there was a letter from my birth mum to my new parents. And the letter read, unfortunately, she doesn't sleep very well through the night. But my new parents were like, no bother, just really, really grateful to have me finally in their arms. That night, I slept right through for 12 hours without waking up. And I wonder now, sometimes, whether that's because finally I was where I was supposed to be. Being mixed race, being brought up in a white family, I used to daydream a lot about having brothers and sisters the same colour as me. And I also used to dream a lot about my birth mother, and I used to wonder what she looked like. And I used to visualise her with blonde hair. Maybe that was because I wish I'd had blonde hair instead of my dark, curly, wiry hair at that time. After many years of begging my parents, they finally agreed to help me to find a picture of my birth mother, a photo. I was 12 years old and I was so excited. I was finally going to see a picture of this woman that I'd been imagining and visualising for years. Sadly, that photo rocked my world. When I saw that photo, it was actually a newspaper clipping with her picture in it. And in that paper was reported that my mother was dead and that actually she'd been found at the bottom of a canal. From that day on, my whole world just went over. I started drinking, I started smoking, I started going out into the town and pretty much doing everything that a girl of my age shouldn't be doing. When I was out in town at about 14 years old, I always used to get mistaken for this girl called Veronica. It happened time and time again, and I met this Veronica a few times. And to be honest, neither of us could really see any likeness. When I was 17, I quit college, I left home, and I went to live in London. I was very sad, I was very lost, and I was very lonely. At 20, I decided to go and find out more about my birth mother. I found out what my father's name was, but more importantly to me at that time, I found out that I had a brother and that she had had a son 2 years after me. I met my brother, he lived in Birmingham, we're very close, and in fact it's because of him that I now live in Birmingham and I have done for the last 13 years. About 10 years ago, a friend of mine and my brother's went to live in London, and then on a weekend back to Birmingham, we met up for a drink. And just through conversation, she was showing me pictures of her boyfriend on her phone. And she said, oh, he's from Nottingham originally. And she said, Donna, you know, it's really strange because about 2 weeks ago I met his sister and she's got exactly the same mannerisms as you. I was like, wow. They said, he's actually got 2 sisters. One of them's called Sylvia, who I met a few weeks ago, and then another one called Veronica. And my heart just stopped and my mind went back to my teenage years. And I thought, wow, could this just be a coincidence? Anyway, I asked my friend to go and talk to her boyfriend and ask him what his father's name was. And she came back and told me, and on that night, I found out who my father was, and I found out that Veronica was indeed my older sister. I also found out on that night that I've actually got 7 brothers and sisters all the same colour as me. So when I was younger, I used to daydream a lot. Not because I wasn't happy, but because I wanted to belong. But now I'm older, I still daydream a lot because I believe if you do, dreams really do come true. Thank you.